about 6 weeks exactly, but it was not my first time here. I actually served for a year at our embassy in Baghdad from 2012 to 2013, and I came up twice to Erbil, but really just briefly, just twice for one night each, just to go downtown and meet with some government officials, and I stayed at our consulate. But now I've really had a chance to get out and see not only Erbil, I've already been to Suli, been there overnight, I've been to Dahuk.
There you go.
I've been kind of all around the Erbil area.
Awesome.
And really enjoying it so far.
Great.
So the weather's great, by the way. It's hot, but it's not.
What?
Well,
come on, let's not sugarcoat things.
No. It's hot. It's not as hot as Baghdad, but it's really dry. It's a nice dry heat. If you stand in the shade, it's pretty comfortable. You know, Washington, D.C. is pretty hot too, but it's so humid in Washington, you just sweat like crazy if you're outside, even if it's just 15 or 20 degrees. So I like this weather. No complaints.
Now, Steve, do you have any ideas how big of shoes are you filling? Because to be honest with you,
Ken?
we're coming off of quite possibly the best U.S. Consul General Erbil has ever had. I mean, I'm thinking about building a statue for Ken Gross. I mean,
He is awesome.
Literally, that's how much
Oh my God.
we love Ken Gross. And do you feel like, I mean, I don't know, are you like, oh man, this is going to be hard? What do you think about this task of, you come in here after seeing an amazing 2 years,
Yes.
in my opinion.
Well, he was
with Ken
really a
Gross.
distinguished diplomat, and they really are big shoes to follow. Obviously, I have to strike out in my own direction, but I'm trying to do my best to get around to see everything that the Kurdistan region has to offer. I've been to the Citadel already. I've been to the Textile Museum. I've been to the Erbil Civilization Museum. Been to the Red Jail in Suli, a site I strongly recommend that people see if they haven't been there, because it really demonstrates the trials and tribulations of the Kurdish people, what they've had to go through to kind of enjoy their dignity today.
So, how about we start first for you just to introduce yourself out there for the thousands of people listening. Who you are, what's your background, where'd you come, from, and all that.
Well, I'm a native of New York City. I was born in Queens, New York. And New Yorker, exactly. I think I've lost a little bit of the accent.
Say, how come you don't speak like New Yorkers?
Well, years of living in Washington, D.C.
That'll
and deliberate attempts to lose it. So I speak a little more standard American English, but my parents have New York accents. So born in Queens, lived a few years in Brooklyn, then moved like so many people out to the suburbs of New Jersey, where I grew up. And then ultimately after college, after grad school, in fact, I went to Michigan grad school. I know you're a native, you're from Detroit, right?
We're going to talk about that. We'll get to that.
Ultimately moved to D.C. and then, joined the State Department, have had a career in the Foreign Service the past 21 years, living all around the world, also a number of years in Washington. It's kind of where I've been. I was in D.C. the last 5 years. I was actually in Baghdad before that. But I've also worked my first assignment in Cairo, Egypt. Then I was in the Republic of Georgia. I was in Belarus. I was in Bosnia. Later in Pakistan, Kazakhstan, and Brussels. So all over the world.
Was it your choice to come to Erbil?
Absolutely. I was really excited about coming here.
Why?
I mean, it's a really challenging assignment. It's a really important place to work. It's important for our U.S. foreign policy. It's also, really a challenging environment given all the things that have gone on.
So you like
in
hard?
Iraq. I like hard, but it's also fun. And the people of Kurdistan, the Kurdish people, and the other ethnic groups who live here are just great people. Really easy to get to know. Really easy to work with.
Okay. Have you signed for 1 year or 2 years?
I expect to be here 2 years.
All right.
Yes.
This is what we like to hear.
Already starting to fill the shoes.
Is that like a for sure commitment? Because Ken, when he first came here, he was like, I first told him 1 year, give me some time, and I think it took like 2-3 months, and then he gave me the answer for a second. Have you already committed 2 years? Just off the bat?
Unless they yank me for something else early, that sometimes happens. I'll be here for 2 years.
So we can expect to have you once again on the Breakfast Club.
Absolutely.
Yes.
As many times as you want.
There we go.
If I'm successful today.
So 2 years. Are you married?
I am not married, but I have a partner
Okay.
who's also a U.S. diplomat.
Okay.
And yes, she's in Europe.
Wonderful.
It's close. It's just like
It's the kind of the same thing.
Yeah, because I was gonna say, 2 years being half a world away from America is kind of, it might put a.
Yeah, it's not half a world. It's just 3-hour flight. So
exactly, it's a lot easier.
Exactly.
So, 2 years.
2 years.
What are you looking to? What are you looking to accomplish? Have you set goals or anything in these 2 years? Is it like, I'm going to finish this new U.S. consul so I can, benefit from this before my 10 years? Have you set anything specific, any benchmark specifically?
Well, I will say, we're building a new U.S. consulate. It's not going to be done in 2 years. We hope it's done on time in about 4 years. It's going to be a world-class facility, a beautiful facility for all of us to work at and live at. And I'm going to try to make sure that stays on track so that it's half done by the time I leave, and then it's 2 more years to finish it off. But I hope to work, very closely with the authorities in the Kurdistan region to push forward a lot of important things like economic reform, the development of the region, the improvement of the security situation, the return of IDPs. So those are some of the objectives that we have.
Do you think all of these will happen within 2 years?
Well, I think I hope we'll make progress, at least incremental progress on everything. But that's the way it is as a diplomat. You always start in the middle of the story, and when you leave, it's still the middle of the story.
You see Erbil in its current situation. It's not the best, you didn't get it.
It's not bad, let me tell you.
But you haven't seen Erbil when it was wearing its pretty dress.
When was that?
In 2014, when we were flying high right before ISIS. To be honest with you, I have this conversation a lot with like businessmen, expats.
Yeah.
They always tell me, why is Erbil down? Why is Erbil sad? So Erbil, to be honest, like without sugarcoating, it's not really that high.
Really?
Morale is not that high at the moment among the citizens. Do you see that as one of the challenges where you're like, what? I think from now in 2 years, with everything, that's going to happen, I think you're going to leave Erbil at a better situation. I'm not saying like you're responsible.
I don't know if I can accomplish that personally. I'll do my best to contribute to that atmosphere, I hope. And I hope to get out and meet a lot of people as well.
Yeah, definitely. So let's. I want to talk real quick about your language, the languages that you speak. It always impresses me.
Yeah.
About how people that are diplomats and that work in this foreign service, you guys always speak such a plethora of different languages. So it's.
I really only speak English really well. So.
But still, you have knowledge of Russian, Georgian, and Serbo-Croatian. I don't even know what that is.
It's, the language they speak in Serbia, Croatia, Bosnia.
Okay.
Yeah.
So how you got a master's in Russian?
I got a master's in Russian and East European Studies from the University of Michigan, and I studied a bunch of languages there. And
why'd you choose Michigan?
Why did I choose Michigan? They paid for my ride. So
there you go.
I'm sure you had other
Actually,
options.
the U.S. government did at the time, a fellowship.
Okay.
But it was a great school, except as you know, it's really cold in Michigan in the winters.
It is. One of the reasons why I ran away from there. Do you support University of Michigan football?
I don't follow college football that closely anymore. I was a grad student, not an undergrad. Did they do well last year?
Not so much, but Michigan history.
Well, that's the problem with Michigan. They always do pretty well, but they're always like just a notch or two away from being the top.
Once every 10 years, they do
teams,
make it to the top. But they have great alumni. Tom Brady, to just say out of the top of my head. So you did your stints here and there. And now you're here. Zain, you had that list of countries, right?
Yeah, and he did roll off the names. Iraq, Belgium, Pakistan, Kazakhstan, Bosnia, Belarus, Georgia, Egypt. Out of all those, you said Egypt was the first place you went?
Egypt was the first place.
Which one stands like the most fondest in your memory? What's the best time you had serving abroad?
Well, I hope at the end of this assignment I'll say
it's
Erbil.
Yes.
I hope I'll say that. I'm brand new here. They're really all different. I have to say, I lived in Georgia as a student in the Soviet period. And I have a lot of Georgian friends. I go back there a lot. I just visited some friends right before I came here. So I have kind of a personal connection to that place.
When was that? What year?
I lived there in 1988.
Oh my God.
So during Perestroika, I was a student. I was an undergrad.
How did you do that? How do even parents let you do that?
Yeah, it was kind of an unusual thing where American universities and Soviet universities were being paired through an exchange program, a U.S. exchange program. And then we got paired, my school, Williams College in Massachusetts, with Tbilisi University. And then we kind of went and we visited for a few weeks. And I said I wanted to go back and spend a semester there. And so I lived with the family. I studied Georgian. It's not that far from here. It's about 1,500 kilometers.
True. So you technically lived in the Soviet Union.
I lived in the Soviet Union.
Amazing.
There you go. Can you read Georgian? I know that
I can read it. I can read the alphabet. I used to be able to speak it pretty fluently. I still understand it really, really well when I go back there.
That is one of the most difficult alphabet I've ever seen in my life.
Yeah.
Have you seen it, Zane?
Well, like, but for the outsider, the Arabic, Persian, Kurdish alphabet look pretty different.
Oh,
difficult
come on, those
too.
look a lot easier.
Well, that's only because you've.
Georgian's just like a bunch of O's.
I'm sure we could figure it out. No, we're pretty smart guys.
No, we're not. Trust me, we're not.
Yes, I have a special connection there. I mean, I loved Bosnia too. I actually did not work in Sarajevo, the capital. I headed our office in the city of Mostar, which is a city that's kind of divided between Croats, Catholic Croats, and Bosnian Muslims. So it had a lot of destruction during the war. And I watched as a very famous Ottoman bridge there, built in the 15th century, that was destroyed in the war, and then it was rebuilt during the time that I was there from 2002 to 2004. So really wonderful people, really wonderful food, really great weather, and just a couple hours from Croatia's famous Adriatic Sea coast.
There you go.
It seems like your entire life you purposely put yourself in hard situations.
Well, I mean, a lot of us diplomats like really challenging environments.
Yeah.
I've definitely selected a career like that because I've also served in Astana, Kazakhstan. It's the second coldest capital city in the world. So, negative 40 degrees centigrade Celsius in the wintertime.
Ooh. So, Kurdish food.
Kurdish food.
Have you gotten a chance to try it?
Let's get the details.
I have had a chance. I think I've eaten a fair amount already.
Do you know the names of any?
I'm not sure if I've got all the names down, but of course I've eaten, a lot of kebab, kofta already. I've eaten some dishes here that maybe aren't exactly Kurdish, but they're regional, like fesenjoon, which I think is an Iranian dish.
Yes.
Again, I'm not sure of all the names, but I've certainly run the gamut of Kurdish food already. And I'm a big meat eater, so it's actually pretty good for me. I like chicken, I like lamb, beef too.
So yeah, of course, if you're into that stuff, it's a good place to be in Middle East, man, because our cuisine is full of that stuff. If you guys are just joining us, this is the new American consulate, Steve
Fagin.
Fagin, I'm sorry. Joining us right here. If you guys have any questions, please text us 0750-5993-993. Ken Groves used to talk about how at 5 a.m. he goes running. Do you do that?
Oh, my God.
Do you do that?
Well, Ken was kind of the workout guy, right?
Well,
he was really trim.
You look trim, too.
I think I've gained about 3 kilos already since I've been here because I've been eating this great Kurdish food. So I'd better start working out.
So how do you plan on staying sane and healthy during your 2 years here?
I mean, Ken installed one of these treadmill type devices in the residence that I'm in. I have not tried it yet, but I keep on thinking every day it's time to start doing this before I really bloat up here.
It's easy to do, this Kurdish food is so delicious, so you gotta be careful.
Yeah. But I think I've been running myself pretty hard. I've been out pretty late a lot, meeting with Kurdish officials, meeting with other diplomats.
How has it been so far? I mean, have you drank a lot of tea during these meetings?
Yeah, I've drunk a lot of tea. I prefer coffee, but sometimes I drink the tea too. And it's interesting because here they tend to often serve both, one after the other sometimes, which is an unusual tradition. In many places, it's, either they only served coffee or they only serve tea, or they give you a choice and they'll only give you one.
Sorry, I'm just doing a few questions right here. But
I've been drinking a lot of coffee, which is not usual for me. But
good morning to Ravas checking in, saying good morning. How can I get a job in the U.S. Army?
At the U.S. where?
Yeah, just U.S. Army.
U.S. Army. Whoa, well.
I mean,
you got to be in the United States to volunteer.
We
have a volunteer army.
Yeah.
We don't have a draft.
There are contracts, there are jobs, but for the local population, you can look that up though. It's easy.
Yes, exactly.
So you're gonna, be here until 2020.
Yes, 2020.
How do you, gonna manage to, have a little bit of leisure time for yourself? Because, just diplomatic work, you're gonna get old eventually. I mean, you don't want that to affect you that badly.
Well, I told my whole staff we kind of have to make one day of the week where we take off a bit, like on Saturdays.
To go outside.
Well, not always to go outside, but to relax inside at least, because we have a couple of restaurants at our consulate and a few places to have fun, like a basketball court, a volleyball court, a kind of little swimming pool, and so it's important, just to kind of chill out.
A lot of people. Sorry, go ahead.
No, what were you saying?
I was going to say, a lot of people are still waiting for the question that people are dying, are obsessed with. I'll get to that in a little bit.
What's that question? Boy, you're worrying me now.
Oh, no, don't worry. It's something.
Is it like, do you prefer Erbil or Suli? That would be a dangerous question I can't answer.
I would never put you in that situation. I would never put you in that situation. Have you gotten a chance to visit 3 big cities?
Yep, I've gotten a chance. Yep, and Suli, overnight in Suli.
You stayed in Suli.
I stayed in Suli overnight, yeah.
What did you think of Suli?
I thought it was great. I mean, again, I'm not gonna say which city I prefer.
Okay, but what do you see difference from Suli and Erbil?
Erbil. Well, obviously Erbil is really flat. It's more spread out. It's got, frankly, more tall buildings at this point in time. Suli has more of kind of an urban core, an urban vibe in the center. And I know there are some political differences as well, the political parties that kind of are dominant in each place.
What about...
But I like both.
De Hoek?
De Hoek I didn't spend as much time in. I just kind of saw it. We were just there for the day for an event. But, also very pretty kind of approaching De Hoek because you have the mountains right there. You kind of drive through the mountains at the end to get to De Hoek.
Yeah.
So I hope to spend more time in both of those places.
Your job requires a lot of driving, and you say you've driven...
I don't drive myself,
being in the car.
A lot of sitting in the car.
Exactly, a lot of sitting in the car. And you said you drove across, by Babylon a few times.
Yeah, I've seen it many times, wondering what this was.
Hey, you're like, is this like an antique place?
Yeah, or archaeological site.
A museum.
A museum.
Yeah. Of course, we're a media company, and, television, radio is our thing. This is, one of them, the radio station that's in English. If we have Babylon TV on air, hopefully soon, would you want to do TV appearances too?
I'd be happy to do TV.
There we go.
Yeah. Because
I might need a bit of makeup, but
no, trust me, you're fine. I mean, if 2 ugly like us are gonna be allowed,
well, you should see all the makeup they used to put on us.
Yeah, they did.
my neck and my face were 2 completely different colors.
We went with it, whatever the producers think is okay, we did it. That's it. All right, so what about this topic? Because this is what people here are so obsessed with. Visas.
My God.
Have you been already bothered by people getting calls? Hey, can you please give me some wasta? Oh, by the way, have you learned the word wasta?
Yeah, that's a Arabic word.
Yeah, well.
Yeah, like
kind of interchangeable.
Is it Arabic or I don't know where its origins are.
It's used in both Kurdish and Arabic.
I believe it's Kurdish, but I never heard in
Persian.
Arabic.
Yeah, I don't know.
I think so. Wasta basically means a hookup.
Yeah.
Hookup. Have you already been bothered about visas and stuff like that?
I get a few inquiries here and there, but we have a bit of a wall of separation between all of us and our consular section. I mean, they make the decisions. I don't make the decisions.
I was going to say, do you have any authority about visa policy?
I don't have any. I don't have any way to tell the consular officer to give someone a visa, and it's good that way. It's good we have that wall of separation.
Do you have any authority to change this policy? Like, hey, you know what? Nope. I want 1,000 approvals a month.
No, because that's U.S. law.
You can't even...
I mean, if I'd want to do that, I'd probably go to jail.
And we don't want to do that.
No.
So basically, you cannot hook anybody up with a visa.
I can't give anybody a visa myself.
There we go.
So please, guys, for the next 2 years, for the love of God, do not bother Steve about visa. Don't call him in the middle of the night. Hey, can you hook me up? Can you do this? You legally can't.
Exactly.
You heard it. Yeah. I just wanted to make that clear for everybody. I'm just trying to make your life easier here, Steve.
Thank you. No.
I think we got even diplomats here listening, and I think even diplomats, local diplomats, local government workers, they might even start bothering,
exactly.
Excuse me, can you please my family vacation? I mean, hopefully, those restrictions will be eased a little bit, but I mean that's beyond. The consulate.
It's beyond the competencies of my job because we have a wall of separation.
There you go. You heard it. Do you like biking?
I'm not really a biker myself. Where were you suggesting that I bike?
Because I was going to say now, we can actually go biking in Samuel Rahman Park. So if you're interested, we can have a day there. Yeah.
We could go walking around, certainly.
We can.
Well, I mean, if it's simple like that, maybe.
Yeah, it's
as long as my security team is following on bikes themselves.
We're all going to be on bikes.
Yeah,
the whole
10, 20
yeah.
people. It's
I think you meant like biking like kind of Tour de France
or
no, biking like
Lord, no.
40, 50 kilometers.
Tour
if you mean like biking in a park, you know.
No. We're not. We're just talking about just a simple biking in the park. I'm just trying to find like different activities that you could enjoy here. You know, the thing about me, Steve, is like when
I enjoy seeing, you know, cultural and historic sites. It's important to do that, and I've already, as I said, done some of that. Yeah. I'm going to continue doing that the next couple of years.
Consul General from France checking in, saying hi to you, Mr. Dominique. So.
Yeah. I saw him yesterday.
Okay. Have you gotten a chance to meet all the other diplomats here from the different countries?
Not all of them, but I've seen some of them one-on-one. I've visited some of them in their consulates, and I've seen a few of them at events, but I'm trying to do that.
You said, of course, the new U.S. consulate, the big one, $800 million project on Chaflower Road. It's not going to be finished by the time... $795, give or take a few million. You said that's not going to finish by the time even your time is gone.
No, it normally takes a long time to do these projects. It's normal.
But are you going to be a part of this project at all? Are you responsible? Do you have to make reports? Do you have to go visit the place? What's your role, or if any of it?
I mean, we have a separate team that works for a very specific part of the State Department that's responsible for building buildings and, you know, ensuring their maintenance as well. And there's a whole team of people out there that are kind of responsible for the day-to-day stuff. Ultimately, I'm responsible for them, and, you know, I'm engaged as much as I need to make sure everything stays on track.
Doing the right job.
Especially if there are problems with, you know, things within Iraq about, you know, getting what we need, getting people in and out to do the work, that kind of stuff.
Materials.
Exactly.
Nice, interesting. If you guys just joining us, this is the new Consul General to the U.S., Mr. Steve, giving us his time, and we really thank you, really appreciate you.
Thank you.
Has it been busy the first, 6-7 weeks since you've been here?
It's been really, really busy.
It's been hard, right?
It's been really, really busy.
I mean, this is not...
We get visitors here. We've had our ambassador up a number of times already since I've been here. And I've been out and about, as I said, to Suli and Dohuk already. Also out kind of in the Nineveh Plains too, so...
Oh, you've been to Nineveh Plains as well?
Yeah, but I mean, you know, this side of that, we call it the Kurdish coordination line, the areas that the Kurdish security forces control. Yeah.
And what'd you think so far over there? I mean, what you saw? I mean...
Yeah, I mean, we went to a couple of villages. You know, we're focused on, you know, return of people to their homes, people that are internally displaced persons, and that's why we were out there, to see what's going on with them and how we can facilitate more returns. You know, there are a huge number of people, I don't know the exact figures offhand, that are living in the Kurdistan region that are internally displaced from elsewhere in Iraq, and that's a big burden on the region, of course. Definitely. And of course, there are 300,000 Syrian refugees here in the IKR as well. The Kurdish Kurdistan authorities have been very hospitable to.
I checked the last numbers, the UN, me and Zay were checking that out, the UN numbers for displaced,
It's extraordinary.
It's still 2 million people.
It's still 2 million countrywide for Iraq.
Displaced only, we're not even talking about Syrian refugees and everything.
No, we're not, yeah.
Just Iraqis, yeah.
And a lot of them, you know, are living in really difficult conditions.
It's unfortunate, but again, we all hope for a better situation, you know.
And we're providing a lot of funding for a lot of organizations to take care of those people and to facilitate their return.
We've talked about the U.S. programs, a lot of them over the different interviews that we had here. I mean, it's well known what the U.S. consulate does, from small projects to big projects. Have you gotten a chance to get to know all of these different things that you guys are involved with?
You know, I'm slowly kind of getting up to speed on that stuff. When I was in Suli, I did a number of things, and in one case, I visited a center that we're funding that deals with vulnerable youth. So that includes youth from Suli and also IDPs and refugees from Syria, kind of helping them with psychosocial issues and also with livelihood, so providing kind of job training and things like that. We posted a few things on our Facebook page about my visit there, and it was really impressive program and really kind of heartwarming, and also sad at the same time that there are so many vulnerable people, including all these IDPs and refugees.
Let's try to get to know you a little more. What kind of music do you like? Because we just celebrated Michael Jackson's birthday.
It's very funny. we had a trivia night at our consulate last Thursday night, I think, and I participated. And I told people there that if they ask us about music, I'm going to be really good, but only on music before or no later than 1975. So I'm
before or later 1975?
No later than
1975. That's very reasonable.
So it's kind of like classic rock.
So what are we talking about?
Well, Pink Floyd, for example.
Ooh.
Although Pink Floyd obviously extends, a bit beyond that with some of their big hits. The Rolling Stones, the Beatles, of course, a little bit of Led Zeppelin. Yeah, and the Kinks, those kinds of.
So you like the guitar a lot?
Yeah, I like the guitar. Eric Clapton, of course.
That was Ken Gross was a big Eric Clapton.
Was he really great? I didn't know that. I had no idea.
He never told you that? Like,
no,
he never
he
sent
didn't.
you an email like, please keep the tradition of Eric Clapton in Kurdistan. We're trying to make it viral here.
Yeah.
He didn't send that to you?
He didn't tell me, no. So you
hard.
Guys could play Layla in my honor.
There you go. What, Layla?
Layla.
Layla, yes, with Eric Clapton. It's hard not to like this kind of music.
Yeah, it's hard not to like it, exactly.
Sorry, I'll listen to myself. No. No.
There we go.
But that's crazy. That's not during your time.
Well, it was during my childhood. Ken was an adult then, perhaps.
Yeah, you were
but
like
I was like
5.
a little kid.
Why?
But if you were like growing up in the early 80s, if you were interested in classic rock,
like who got you into
I think just me listening to the radio, in New Jersey, listening to New York City radio stations at the time. But if they were doing like a, top 500 rock countdown, what was going to be the number one song always? Let's say it's like early 1980s. Stairway to Heaven.
Yes.
There's no doubt.
So
maybe not anymore, but that was going to be your number one song.
Were you into Johnny Cash?
No, not so much.
Not really. Too slow.
A little bit of Motown.
Okay.
A little Motown.
The
when I was
Supremes
younger.
and like
yeah,
that?
that kind of stuff. Yeah.
Marvin
Gaye.
Were you into the Jacksons?
When I was a little kid, maybe.
ABC.
When you guys drive around, do you guys listen to Babylon FM, or do y'all have the radio on? Or
I don't think we're allowed to have the radio on.
Steve,
no
I'm
radio?
sorry, but you're going to have to change this policy.
I guess I could wear my own, I have an iPod or something.
You can listen to us online, or you can put us on. We're always on.
I forgot
80.
who told me that, but I think Sarah told me it's like, we can't have the radio on when we're driving. Come on, please. You got to turn on Babylon, please.
I'm just a backseat passenger.
We'll play Rolling Stones once every hour if you change this policy.
Change the policy. Have the radio on in the car. Rolling Stones, Babylon FM.
If you guys are just joining us, this is the new U.S. Consul right here on Babylon, Mr. Steve. Get in touch with us if you have any questions, 0750-59393. Thank you for the 2-3 questions.
Are Kurds, by the way, into classic rock, or is this...
not that
so
much. It's kind of hard, at that
Yeah, they didn't grow up with it. They didn't grow up with it.
We're talking about the latest music that people grew up to here. We're talking about the 80s.
Okay.
Excuse me. So Michael Jackson was very well known.
Okay. The later Michael Jackson, not the Jackson 5
Oh, yeah, of
Michael
course.
Jackson.
Of course. Madonna,
okay.
Because in the 70s and 60s, the few radio stations that were here was just news.
Okay.
In the 70s and 60s. So that wasn't happening. But in the 80s, there was some, Western radio station music every now and then. So that was it. You said you're from New York, native of New York. Your parents, do you know where do they trace their heritage? Are they Italian?
No, they're kind of like Central Europe and Eastern Europe. But my parents are both native New Yorkers too.
I'm sorry, say that
My
again?
parents are native New Yorkers.
Okay, born and raised.
Born and raised in the U.S. Yep. My father's from Brooklyn. My mother's from the Bronx.
So they came right there.
Yeah,
It makes perfect sense.
I'm
from Queens.
Have you been from New York? Have you been to New York, Zane?
I've been in New York to Times Square a few times.
Okay.
Driving was crazy, but then I came here and I was like, it's not so bad over there.
Could you ever see yourself living in New York again?
I'm not sure of New York City. It's kind of really expensive to live in New York City.
Yeah.
And I kind of like the pace of Washington, D.C. a little better. But New York is like the most exciting city in the world.
It is.
More to do there than probably anywhere else. More great restaurants and museums and really diverse people, of course, from all over the world. My father actually lives in Manhattan now. And, you can they've got restaurants in their neighborhood. They've got, a French restaurant that's kind of standard for New York City. But they had just a block away a Macedonian restaurant.
Ooh.
A Drew's restaurant.
You got everything, though.
You don't find Drew's restaurants in other parts of America. So I don't know, maybe in Detroit.
No,
I don't know.
not even Detroit. Actually, I don't even remember seeing that. That's really interesting.
Have you got a chance to meet any of the either former or current U.S. presidents? Like, did you get to meet Obama? Have you met Mr. Trump?
I have not met U.S. presidents. I've met our secretaries of state.
Okay.
Our foreign ministers, but I don't think I've met a U.S. president. I met a lot of foreign presidents, of course.
So we asked Ken Gross. We were like,
had he?
No. Well, yeah, we asked him. I think he met someone like before Bush. I can't
that would have
remember.
been Clinton.
Bill Clinton.
Bill
I think
Clinton?
he said he met somebody, but we asked him, what is dealing with like things like from Trump tweeting? Does that affect your job? Because we asked him.
Do you think these next 2 years, can we see Mr. Trump actually visiting Iraq? Do you think that's going to happen?
It's really hard for me to say. We'll have to see. I wouldn't discount it. I wouldn't exclude it. Certainly.
There we go.
Well, it's been great to getting to know you. Hopefully this isn't the last time.
No, absolutely not.
It was lots of questions just, quickly, because it's hard to get to know a person just like that in a half hour. So I definitely thank you for coming.
Great.
And hopefully you'll have a great experience here in these 2 years. And
I am already.
You get to learn a lot. And if you ever need anything, Babylon is here. Everybody's here. Here in Kurdistan, if you just walk down the street, you ask somebody for help, they'll help you.
Wait, can we have you? We want to do we did this with Ken Gross, a music show where you pick all your favorite songs.
Really?
And we'll do like an hour just with you and your favorite songs.
What did Ken pick?
Of course,
Did he
Eric
do classic
Clapton.
rock. Okay.
Yeah.
Is that going to bore your audience?
No.
Okay. Well, I definitely have a top 20. So.
There we go.
We're ready.
We're ready.
Great.
Steve, thank you so much. Good luck with everything in these next 2 years.
Thank you.
Thank you.
All
Best
right.
of luck.
Thank you.